Hi, Phil. How are you?
Doing? Good to see you.
Nice to see you guys, too. Okay, so me and my wonderful boyfriend here, we've been dating for over a year now. And as we talk about our future and talks about marriage, we have a little issue here and there. So he's traditional, and I'm a modern woman.
All right, stop the tape real quick. Time out. You don't even need to go any further, right? The conversation should be over right then and there. Like, you don't need to know what Dr. Phil thinks, what Steve thinks. Oprah can't fix it. Iveen can't do nothing about it. It's just done. There's no point in going further. She claims she's traditional, modern woman. Hear me roar. He's the old patriarchal, out of touch, antiquated, controlling, typical male, right? Like, there's no point in them even engaging in a relationship. Like, the advice is given, they should date and do whatever, what have you. But as far as building a marriage, traditional men and modern women do not mix. There's no point in going further. That's just it. It's just that simple. No need to continue. What are we going to do it for sakes anyways?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you guys, too. Okay, so me and my wonderful boyfriend here, we've been dating for over a year now. And as we talk about our future and talks about marriage, we have a little issue here and there. So he's traditional, and I'm a modern woman. He feels that I should be at home taking care of the children and that he should be the breadwinner. Yeah. But I think that we should be a unit, that there are no gender roles to what we do. I actually would like to also be the breadwinner. I also feel that we should take care of the children together. One of the biggest issues we hit was about marriage. He thinks that I should take his complete last name. I've talked about hyphenating my last name. He feels that the marriage won't be...
Does he speak, by the way, or...
say nothing.
or do you speak for him?
Yeah, I was letting her get her part of it out, and then I was going to give you how I feel, because I want you to hear exactly how she feels first before I say anything.
Yeah, well, I think I got the picture here.
Yeah.
So what's your side of this?
My side of it is, I feel that as the man in today's society, a lot of women do have power. They do have, we're equals. But in my house, personally, me, I want you to be the one that can take care of my kids, take care of my household, and still you can be independent, do what you're going to do, work. But at the end of the day, when I come home, I would like something to eat. I would like my house clean. I would like my kids taken care of. I can help out. I will never sit back and act like I can't do anything.
So you would give her permission to be independent?
It's not me giving her, I mean, if you want to put it that way, yes.
Well, that's what you said. As long as you do what I want you to do, then you can go play independent.
I mean, technically, if you want to go technical, yeah. But at the end of the day, we're a unit, so therefore I will bring my side and she will also bring her side. But at the end of the day, I can cook for myself. I can do for myself. It's just what I would rather her do.
Yeah. How long y'all been dating?
Over a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that working for you?
It's great.
Great. It's great.
So as long as you got separate...
It's good. Like, we've learned to a certain extent to compromise. It's just that when we got to the point of understanding we really love each other and talking about the future, that we realized that this is something we got to work on.
There was one key word out of everything both of you have said that troubled me more than anything else either one of you said. One word that jumped out to me that was the most toxic word out of everything either of you have said. It's got 2 letters, and the word is my. Because you said, I want her to take care of my house. I want her to take care of my kids. I want her to have my dinner ready. My, oh my. That's the problem here.
Pain, man.
What do you think, Dr. Harvey?
I can't tell you the pain you about to be in, sir. I can't even tell you what's up the road for you, man. Woo-woo. See, you all are far away on some major issues. She's a modern woman. She wants to work. You want her to stay home, so you'll have something to eat when you come home. That's probably how your mother and father did it, correct? Yeah, that's what you've been seeing. All that was cool back then. It was real cool. My mom and dad was growing up. Times have changed, just like the book Life Code says. We're in a different thing. I think it takes 2 incomes to make it now. as far as your name getting hyphenated, I understand his position on that because a man feels like that's the ultimate sacrifice of himself is to get married and to take his name. You know, if you want to keep your last name you got, then, you know, marry your daddy. But
That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said.
Now I'm with him on the name thing, but he gonna lose that other one for you.
Well, it's not going to make any difference. We talked about negotiation. You know, she's obviously highly intelligent, drop-dead gorgeous, got a lot of things going for her, right? Right? That's the question?
Yes.
Yeah. So you do realize she's a prize egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
do.
she's great. And you got to go into marriage with one attitude. You got to wake up every day. Put it on your mirror if you have to. All of y'all, put this on your mirror. You ought to look at it every day. You ought to start your day saying, what can I do today to make my marriage better? What can I do today to make her happier? What can I do today to make him happier? You got to start out where you're moving towards each other. He has things that, you know, a lot of women would say, what a catch here. This guy wants me to stay home and nurture our family and take care of things. How blessed am I to have somebody that wants me to do that?
Right.
It's not right or wrong. It's just you got to find somebody with whom those values are compatible, and this is not. So you either negotiate some middle ground, and you got to do that with a very important concept, emotional integrity. Don't bait and switch. Don't tell him what he wants to hear to get married and then switch. Don't tell her what she wants to hear to get married, and then once you get the paperwork filled out, you go back to what you were doing. You can't do that. Have emotional integrity. Don't make a deal and change it. If y'all can't solve this, trust me, walking down the aisle and filling out some paperwork at the courthouse is not going to fix this. You got to negotiate this. And there's not a right or wrong. You are not wrong to want a stay-at-home mom. You're not wrong to want to be a career woman that balances your home and your career. You've just got to negotiate.
All right, so you got this scenario going on, and I think this is happening a lot in the dating culture right now. I think what he's saying is you know, it's not common. It's rare, you know, a young brother to be on that traditional stuff and whatnot, you know. But he grew up in a two-parent household, so that might be one of the reasons why his situation and viewpoint is different. Also, you know, he's probably got his money right. I do think that if more brothers had their economic game up, there would be more men in that position to feel this type of way, even with, you know, all the progressive, you know, ending gender roles and all that nonsense that we're all being taught growing up and we see on television and pop culture and all of the bull crap. But I mean, what are the chances though? Like, you know, he wants to stay at home, modern woman wife, and she wants, you know, the more metrosexual, egalitarian, let's share roles and positions. You could stay home with the kid and I'll go to work because I want to be the breadwinner too, type of thing. You know, it seems like off the bat you'll just say no, they don't belong together. She should go out there and get some metrosexual dude who's on the black woman's god, you know, female nature worship nonsense, and he should go out and get a white conservative female. I'm joking, not really. But yeah, like, I guess like this is where it's at. Like, so the reality is though, you got a lot of women complaining that there's not enough brothers, you know, in that position. Even though a lot of women sound like her, you know, in college or whatever, and they want to, you know, let's get your money up and I'll get my money up and we'll get together and we're gonna do this and that. But then when, you know, life happens and when kids happen and you know, sickness comes in and, you know, all like when reality kicks in, a lot of these women change their mind about that. So even though she's on this, and I'm not saying, you know, she could possibly really be on this and have that worldview, but the reality is a lot of women who talk like that don't really mean it. Like, eventually they change their mind and that normally is after that baby comes out. I remember a girl I used to talk to a couple years back, and she was on that. You know, if you watch that negotiation cartoon, I'll leave the link in the description box if I find it, where the black HSBCU chick who's, you know, I want to be independent and make my own money but spend your money and you know, make the decisions in the house, but you got to be the man to lead. All that contradiction and that stuff, right? I sent that to her, and I'm thinking she's gonna get upset or whatever, but she actually laughed it off. Was like, yeah, that is me. And like and I haven't talked to her for a while, but about a year ago almost, She posted the baby pics or whatever. She's had a kid. You know, her plan of, you know, the superpower couple thing didn't work out, I guess, and having the baby before she knocked off, you know, her debt, because she's a pharmacist or whatever, working in a lab type pharmacist, not working behind the counter or at a store or whatever. And so it didn't work out. And then one day she was all like, oh, she hit that whole, you know, I don't want to go back to work thing once she had the baby. And then she like one of her friends are just like, girl, quit that job or whatever, something dumb like that. And she's on some like I got student loans or whatever, and she's like, forget that, just defer them or whatever. She said something dumb else again, and she goes, well, are you going to take on 3 people? And I was like, oh, what you mean? Like, she's like, so it's like, to me that was disrespectful, to the point that she would type that, you know, meaning you have to take me, my baby, and my dude who I chose to procreate with before marriage, with all this debt and all this other nonsense. Like, saying, she's basically saying that he's not in a position to take care of us. I don't want to go back to work. I have to. And even though this was a joking back and forth, that's what she was saying. Like, I'm saying, that's how emotional, selfish women are, that they'll say stuff like that. Even though I know she, you know, she understood what she was probably getting into. I know what she, you know, she probably know. Like, you constantly hear women saying these days, I know that I'm going to, like, black women are the ones always saying this, I know I'm going to make more money than my husband, blah, 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 so that's not a problem or whatever. So they already got that in their mind. So I'm saying she probably knew his situation and whatnot and where he's at. But I do remember one guy trying to, you know, she posted some status about, I want a man that can cook and do this, this, and that, and all this other stuff. Whereas this game that I notice a lot of females are playing where they want men to do, you know, things that traditionally women are supposed to do. Like, you know, they go Google for Gaga when they see the men on going videos going viral of them braiding their daughter's hair or stuff like that. Like, it's like these women want, these are women who claim it like a traditional man, right, and the provider, the protector, leader, and all that. But they also want him to do things that generally women do historically, right? So it's like they playing a little both sides of the story right there. But yeah. So, you know, like I was saying, basically she hit him with the whole, you know, he can't provide and take care of his family, so, you know, if my income goes, we're pretty much screwed. And again, I'm like, I understand she knows the situation she got in. Like, she, you know, that's one of my dilemmas is like, when you hear women complaining about there not being enough men like this brother in this video, it's like, well, you make that decision before you're married. If you're dating and I say this all the time, if you want to be a stay-at-home wife, marry a stay-at-work husband. It's just that simple. You know, you make this decision up front. Women are acting like, you know, like they have no choice, and he just puts on the last minute when she's like 9 months pregnant and about to take her maternity leave. He's all like, no, you're going back to work. Like, they make it seem like it's extreme like that. And I'm going to do another video on this, but I'm going to talk about this game that a lot of women are playing, is where they're trying to do this trade-off thing where, you know, if they have to work, or if they, you know, if they are the primary breadwinner, they want to start rearranging things, saying, well, I don't have to take your last name, or I can hyphenate our kid's name, or, you know, I'll make the decisions in the house. Like, that's a game that I noticed that women are playing now too, but that's a different topic. But you know, there's not enough brothers in this position. Women are claiming that they want that, even though a lot of them growing up though are saying the things that she's saying. Like, most women, you know, I don't think they're 35 yet or whatever. They're probably under 30 even possibly. But most women who are, you know, pulling 40, pushing 30, you know, that's backwards. Pulling 30, pushing 40, they're different now, especially if they got some income and some money, and now they're on some I want the provider, protector man. And even though they've established themselves financially and all that stuff now, you know, they still want the option to, you know, go back and when they feel like they don't want to work anymore or whatever, they should be able to do that. And I'm like, that it doesn't work like that. Especially, you know, you're damn near being 40 before you get married nowadays, a lot of these women, right? And it's like, you're a grown woman. Like, I can understand, you know, two young couples doing that. I can understand, you know, one of my female family friends, she's 19 and she's engaged to get married. Dude's 23. And for now, the plan is that she's going to be the stay-at-home wife type of thing. Like, to me, that makes sense. They're both young. She's still trying to figure out what she's going to do in school. And he's cool with that and content with that. He's stacking up, working like a dog, you know, whatever. And that's working for them. But I can understand that situation for them. I do not understand that when you're damn near 40. Now, I get it. Women want the men to be financially stable and all that by that time. I understand that hypergamy is not going anywhere with the age. I understand, but this idea that you know, it's like women are trying to shame men or fault men because they're not talking like this brother. And again, I know a lot of that has to do with some of the financial situations that men are in. They don't feel like they can do it. Like Steve said in this video, which a lot of people are begging to differ, is that it doesn't take two incomes and all that. And then some women want to get on the idea that men are just trying to keep up with the Joneses, or they want to do these things just so that they could, show off a car and vacations. And I'm like, nah, really, when women are 85% of consumer spending, I'm not going to go with that narrative. I mean, I think it is difficult I'm looking at insurance, Obamacare. Now you got, people, I looked at all the married people when I was in my meeting for the insurance, and they're like, even the married women who, like, they use their insurance for the family so that her husband didn't have to use his job. He can just, take the money. Or even at the time, some of those companies were giving you money for not taking the insurance. And they're like, looking at it, and it's like, before dental, before eye, is a big chunk of their income. So I'm like, I understand why a lot of men feel that way. Like, I would like you to be doing something to contribute, whatever. But again, the point is that a lot of women are taking that and they're redefining that, and they say stupid things like, he's making me work a job. But again, my whole point is that you make those decisions before you get married. There's no way in the world, if you want that type of man, like the one in this video, you go for that type of brother. But the one other flip side is how he's sounding like he wants to be in a dominant position. He wants to be in control of the relationship. Then women get all scared and start ruffling their feathers like, well, I have feelings and ideas and thoughts, and I want the word they use is I have a strong personality and I want to be heard. Well, I'm like, well, it's a trade-off. Either you go with the traditional dude who's going to provide those things for you and give you what you want or whatever, but he's going to be the one in the lead and in control of the relationship. Either you do with that, or you get with the more modern men who cares about your career and your success and what have you, but he wants you to just come with half the rent. That's all he cares about. Like, he's cool with you being, like he said, independent and playing that game. He's probably going to understand that you can't come home and cook and do all the other stuff sometimes. Possibly he might think that just because you work, you should still do some of the traditional things as far as taking care of the kids and cleaning. Who knows? But I'm saying it's a trade-off. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And a lot of women, when you get to those trade-offs, then they start feeling some type of way. And I think that's the dilemma, though. But it's not a lot of brothers in his position saying what he's saying. A lot of women claim they want that when they're older, like when they're young and in college and all that. Again, they're talking just like her. But the reality is you really can't listen to them, most of them. Most of them you can't listen to. If she's some extreme feminist or some stuff like that, she's probably telling the truth. But the average female, is going to talk like that for a point in time. But when the babies come, when life happens, when stuff goes wrong, then she starts to feel some type of way that when she has that bond to connect with the child, she's on some, I don't want to go back to work. And then that just brings in a whole bunch of other issues and resentment. And then when she sees other women, especially from other races where their men are providing a situation to where they can, have the options, and it's all backfired. So it's like, either what do? Traditional men and modern women don't mix. But the problem is a lot of modern women, like as a female, I'm going to do a video on one of her articles, said women like to play both the eras. And I noticed that a lot of black women do want to straddle both eras and play it both ways. And that's where the drama comes in. You can say straightforward, traditional men and modern women don't mix. But these modern, traditional / feminist women, they mess the whole game up because they're confusing and they be flip-flopping. Let's have a plan up front. Let's say what we're going to do up front, and we're going to do that. Now, stuff happen. Now, you have to acknowledge people get sick, people get hurt, jobs get lost, whatever. So you have to have a backup plan for that as well. But this idea that, when men stand up, like, you heard the crowd clap too when they talked about, hyphenating the last names or whatever. And, but when men talk, like, there was a point in time in history where more men were like this, but they were met with opposition just like this female, saying like, no, I don't want that. And he's supposed to just cave and just, go with the flow, look, happy wife, happy life narrative, which I think that idea is starting to go away, But most men who talk like this in the past were considered, controlling, out of touch, the evil patriarchy, right? So there's been a demonization of this type of talk, and that's another reason why a lot of young men aren't about that life. They don't talk like that. because they know they don't want to hear all the drama and hear all the, all the independent women come out of the closet, and the lesbian auntie who's got like 10 degrees who's still single, who doesn't shave, comes into the conversation and start, they all gang up on him and then he caves. Like, that happens a lot. But that's just my video. I think that traditional men and modern women don't mix. But what's the other side that doesn't get stuck is that a lot of sisters play this traditional / feminist role where they want both. They want to be all empowered and whatever on their dime and on their terms. Also, the trade-off that comes with being with a traditional man is, it's his house, like he said in the video, his food, his children, it's his stuff. That's his reward. That's what he gets from being in that position, right? The guy who's, like the example I use, he can't say those things because they're not his, because he's not in that primary breadwinner position. And what's crazy, I was talking to my boy about, is when sisters get in that position, when they are in the controlling position, they are the dominant, because let's keep it real, some sisters don't want men like that specifically because they don't want to listen to him. They want to be, all independent and, do their own thing, right? One of the things, when they get in that position, they do the same things that men were criticized for doing in the past. Don't make her feel bad because she's a stay-at-home wife. And I'm not even talking about men who stay home. Just the fact that she's in a better position than you financially is going to be drama in itself, right? It can be used against you as a weapon. And I'm saying that men in the past were told not to do that to their wives and to make her feel included and all that other stuff, right? But when women get in that position and they get a little bit of power and a little clout, and don't let them be in some authority position outside the home and at work, they come back home doing the same thing to her children, their husband. And that's exactly what men were criticized in the past for doing. Yet when women get in that position, they're not like men. They're worse, because they then get to, blame you and say, the reason why things are the way they are is because you're not in the proper position. So it's like they don't lose, right? They can always fall back and say, well, if you were man enough, and I wouldn't have to be doing these things or whatever. If you had your stuff where it was supposed to be, I wouldn't have to do these things. And that's the confusion right there. Oh yeah, a couple more things. Also, like when I listen to the groups and the women's complaints and stuff like that about men not wanting to, be in the position that this brother's talking about, or how women complain about, men, because a lot of men are on this and they know that through discussions or what have you, but these are hypothetical situations. Even though, yes, the men are saying, like, we're not about that life, these are hypothetical situations. And I'm saying is, like, again, you answer these questions with whoever you're dating before you get married. And if you want to be a stay-at-home wife, whatever, go do what you gotta do. Hop the fence, hop the pond, be with that type of patriarchal man who wants to offer those things, whatever. But it doesn't make sense, because these women really get, they go ham and they start attacking these men who don't feel that way in all these conversations. And I'm like, and I guess you said to this brother, now they've only been together a year, and they're probably starting to understand what they really both want. Because a lot of people just say things, but it's like they just say it. But now that it's time for the marriage conversation, he understands, like, we got two different philosophies, ideologies, worldviews. Most traditional men know damn well not to go to the woman like her, right? Again, that's just common sense. So why would a woman who claims she wants to be the traditional housewife be with the man who doesn't have those views? No, I'm just saying, like, from day one, there shouldn't even be an argument or a conversation. If he's saying that he's not trying to do that, then you should not be with him, period. Likewise, most men who are of this caliber, what he's talking about, they're not going out trying to get with Olivia Pope, right? They're not trying to go out and get with Superwoman, because they know that she's not going to be doing things on his terms. He knows there's going to be a constant battle and competition and trying to compete for positions and all that nonsense. So there's no logical reason for him to do that. Now, I think most traditional men know that. They know that they don't mix with modern women. They know that they're going to keep having buds. And then women feel some type of way when they be like, well, why is he with her? She doesn't have a brain and whatever, but she has a youth, she has a beauty, she has a fertility, and she's okay playing that submissive part. But when women who have the education and, you know, successful not see that, they start feeling some type of way. So it's like, well, you're not willing to give him what he wants in return, so you can't be mad about that. Also, one thing, this is an observation, is it seems that, you know, when I look at different groups and talk and discussions, I look at the more conservative right-wing type of situations, particularly white women, you know, even though there's a debate about the same situation going over there, and they feel some type of way about how other men are responding to the last 50 years of feminism, there's more of a discussion over there, though, and I think that they're more comfortable. You know, if you look, you know, all these women on Fox News and those type of situations, they make good money and they have decent jobs, that type of situation, you know, they can still be, you know, even though they're making money, bringing home bread, they don't throw it back in their face that they're cleaning up and doing things around the house. Like, they understand that, you know, he's still the man, he's still the lead, he's still in charge, he's still the head of the household. Me working does not change that. Or I think that a lot of black women can't do that. Like, they can't say, you know, I have this career and all this stuff, and then think I'm going to relinquish some of my responsibilities simply just because. I think white women can deal with that better. Just like I think that white women can also, liberal, progressive women can deal with the situation where the reverse, where the husband is the henpecked household husband, she makes more money, and he's staying at home. I think that they can deal with that better. I don't think that sisters can deal with that. I don't know what the issue is, but it seems like when they're put in those predicaments, it's nothing but drama. Like, they can't deal with either situation on either side of the coin. But that's it. If you're a traditional dude, don't even waste your time when it comes to marriage. I understand why she'd be fun to date and kick it with, but when it comes to marriage and you have this worldview and you have this view of what your family should be like, and if her opinion or her views differ from yours, there's no point in even going there. And that goes same to the women. If he's not on that traditional stuff, why waste your time? Like, it's not even up for conversation or debate or anything. He's not gonna give you what you want. That's it.